but of course it's in our sister station in Oro, so you can catch snippets of it, rather more detailed, comprehensive, what its agenda is in our subsequent bulletins, and also of course on Semana Citizen that starts later on at around 10. But for now though, it is Tuesday, and it is time for Tuesday. We also want to talk about something very interesting: boundaries between your program and Mdavadi na yetu. We want to talk about boundaries. Sana sana kwa friendship. The foundation, wanasema miundo msingi, yeah? In Swahili, yeah, of every relationship is a friendship. But still, even if you're in a relationship, who is in a mix, in a intertwine hapo hivyo, where then your business becomes everybody's business. To help us with that discussion, we have Roberta Bobby.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good morning.
Uko salama wa salmin?
Yeah. Kuna baridi leo nje.
Kuna baridi sana na traffic. In fact, just stay and watch this show. Because if you leave now, utakuwa nakula bendo ukiwatch kwa YouTube bure. So just stay and watch because the traffic is crazy, and kuna manyunyu pia in Nairobi at least. Shut up, boy.
Wagwan.
Uko salama?
Feeling aire?
Feeling fresh and crisp.
The only good thing about this country ni ati mwenye alipewa tenda ya baridi hakukula pesa.
Amedeliver kabisa. In fact, amedeliver. Sometimes when you think imeshaisha, anatuambia zi, kuna hii place kwa napata tena hapo men at work. Let me do better. Smooth it over.
Do my thing.
One more time.
I want referrals.
CJ Atema, welcome as well.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing super.
You're looking good.
Thank you very much indeed. I tried to do the whole blue and white today. I think imeingiana. It was a struggle. It was a hustle. But Mungu ni nani?
Actually, all of you are looking really, really good today.
Yeah, you too. Yeah. With the material. Internet-wise material. Yeah. All right. So, talk about boundaries. Jump right into it. When friends don't know the line whereby, for example, if I am Roberta's friend and she tells me a deep secret and she says, usiambie mtu. Then I'll go to CJ and say, CJ, I want to tell you a secret, lakini hata wewe usiambie mtu, because ameniambia so atajua tu ni mimi. Then CJ takes that and says, wacha nikwambie kitu Roberta aliambia Willie. So it becomes a circle and a cycle. So how important is trust in any friendship? Start with you, CJ.
I don't know why. But, you know, by the time somebody is telling you not to tell anybody, there's already a problem. Because you need to have judgment over things that are spoken to you in confidence. So that I shouldn't be able to tell you that, Willis, please don't tell anybody this. We need to know that whatever this person is sharing is not something they're comfortable sharing with anybody else. Okay. They've shared with me because of either the value or the level of depth of the relationship that we have with them. And maybe they just wanted to be heard. If they wanted it out there, they'd probably put it out there. So it's already a problem when somebody actually has to tell you, don't tell anybody. And then we need to also understand that, you know, not everything that you hear needs to go out over there. Sometimes people use that just to gain mileage, you know, to look like they know a lot about people.
In a circle.
Yeah. And then sometimes also, because of their own insecurities, especially if you tell me that you're struggling with something, and Shatta looks at you or looks up to you. So I want to make Shatta realize Willis is not doing as well as you think. Yeah. Yes. So I will use what you have told me to go out there and then make you look less than who you are, because probably I'm not doing as well. And so I want people to feel like, look, even the people like Willis that you see, it's not that they're doing so well, so I'm just all right. There are a lot of factors that make people just bring out information that they have, but it shouldn't even be.
It shouldn't even be like that. Shatta, Waswahili wanasema hakuna siri ya watu wawili.
Yeah, man.
So sasa basi you just suffer alone.
Hapana. Lazima nikwambie kitu.
Yes.
Kama unajua hakuna siri ya watu wawili, the moment umeniambia ushare options zako, ukajua this one might or might not, and you know the repercussions of when this guy goes out and tells people about it, you will live with the repercussions of it. Unaelewa? But trust and loyalty are almost the same thing. You know, they are hard to get and very easy to evaporate. Unaelewa? So when you tell me something in trust that I will not tell anyone, and I go telling people, it means then I am not afraid of losing your friendship, sindio, then that means we define friendship. What is friendship? You know, because a true friend would not do that. I think people need to understand what is friendship first.
Do you think, and I'll ask Roberta as well, do you think true friendships in the age of, I really think social media is a blessing. I love it. People make money off it. People share experience.
You have to mention money.
Yeah, money is good. I love it. It's actually the only reason I'm on there is because I make money. If I had enough, I would disappear. But Lil Wayne say too much money ain't enough money. So anyway, I say there's so much. I don't know if is that what, like fakeness? There's so much of the fake, let me say that. Fake friends. People who you see in your comment sections or who occasionally will come and tell you, hey, Robert, you're doing good. Sasa unajua, huyu sasa ni beshte yangu. I saw a post that said, normalize using the words, I think, colleagues, acquaintances and all that, because not everybody's friends. Yeah. So what would you say is neighbors? What would you say is a true friend in this world of fakeness, as Shatta is saying? What is friendship?
Oh man, friendship, I wouldn't say I really have a definition for what a friend is, because it would definitely vary according to different people. But I'd say become the person you want to attract. Become the type of person you want around you. Like, because if you're honest and loyal, you're not gonna fall for fakeness. You're not gonna, like, you'll be able to spot uyu ananiwaste your time, uyu ananidanganya, and it's much easier. But when you're that friend who goes and tells CJ, Roberta aliniambia, don't. Of course, you'll surround yourself with people who will just be like you. CJ will just tell Shatta, and then they'll tell everyone else. So I wouldn't really say there's one, like I wouldn't say for me there's a friend, because I have different friends and they give me, they sort out my different needs. So I think it just boils down to the kind of person I am. So to show the kind of people I'll attract. But vitu kama loyalty, respect, friendship, love, hizo ni vitu basic zenye unafaa upe every other human being. Those are just basic things. They're not ati. They don't elevate you into friendship status because you're loyal or because you're friendly. Nah. Yeah, that's what it is.
And the other thing is, there is now, whenever you have a friend, and many people have said this, people say that if you're in a workplace, na mtu haza kuambia, you know we are family, ujue that is the beginning of toxicity. They're about to use you properly and milk you dry. So in such situations, where now you're dealing with everybody, I don't think there's anybody who doesn't have that one. Okay, there's that one drug friend. Let's be honest, there's that one drunk friend. Then like compartmentalize. But there's always that one toxic friend who is leeching and you can't get rid of them. How do you start having conversation with this person? Maybe you've known them from, it's just like you grew up together, you went to the same school, you probably went even to the same high school, university maybe went different, but you guys, you've been together, nyini, neighbors. How do you tell that one friend who you know is toxic, this is where the line is?
I think normally such people feed on a certain need that we have. That's why we don't get rid of them.
So the need that we
have.
So that help make us also toxic then? Because if we like toxic.
Because see, if somebody is toxic around me and I can't get rid of them, the question is why? Why can't I get rid of them? Is it that there's something they know about me that I wouldn't want them to go out and talk about, so I've got to protect myself by keeping them around? Is it that I don't have people who know me the way they know me? Or is it that there is something that they bring to my space which I will not get from somebody else? Is it that I don't like how they ask for the money, but then I love their company? There has got to be a need that they feed. So the first thing is to ensure that that need is dealt with. You either have to find a way to meet it elsewhere, or you just say, look, I'm getting rid of the batteries, so you're not going to remote control me.
That's, for some of you, that means quitting.
It just means that I'm going to heal this area of my life that keeps you here, so that you won't keep doing this. And you've got to be intentional about that, because again, sometimes why they keep on doing that is they believe You'll get upset with them today. 2 days later, you'll be the one texting them.
Yeah.
So when they've seen that as a pattern, they lose respect for you. They never take your no as a no and yes as a yes, because you have shown them over time that you are indecisive. Sometimes you've got to be very radically decisive. It will hurt you. You may even miss that relationship for a while. But if you ever get back to it, then you start with rules of engagement. There's going to be lines of respect.
Have you ever had to cut somebody off, and how did you do it?
Yeah, friendship breakups are just as painful as romantic relationship breakups. And I have had to cut people off, but that's because, as CJ said, I had to heal all these things within myself. Easy vitu zote ni internal work. I promise you, when you work on yourself, when you work on loving yourself, when you work on your boundaries, when you work, everything else is child's play. It's not as difficult. You know how even before breakup you're scared. Nikimwacha, will I find better? Will I whatever, whatever, whatever. But when you work on yourself, you realize you don't even need all this external validation. You don't need this person leeching on you. You're able to set your boundaries. You're able to be very firm. You're able to just communicate your feelings. And it's from the simple things. Actually, being unable to set your boundaries stems from childhood trauma, whereby your boundaries were never respected. So as you grow up, you're even scared to tell your friend, please usiku unanipigia simu Saturdays, taki kukunywa, I just want to stay in the house. You know, you're thinking, it becomes, you have to think, you have to think about it like, this is my only friend, atakasirika, what if I don't go to their party, you know, etc, etc. You think about all these things, but a real friend understands you. A real friend knows before you have to explain yourself. A real friend just gets it. And that's how it is, because if you're respectful in yourself and how you handle your relationships, and then you end up surrounding yourself with people who do the same, all these problems are easily eliminated. You won't have to think about, you know, mtu akikukosea atajua hapo nimekosea Roberta. Either ni apologize ama a friendship ishe. They will know how to deal with it, as opposed to wale watu kukosea alafu anakunyamazia siku tatu anarudi like nothing has happened, and then you're there confused and hurt. You don't know how to communicate because you're scared of losing the friendship, or you're scared of sijui nini. So work on yourself so that you're able to be very assertive and you're able to set your boundaries straight. When you do this, everyone, jibebe vile unataka kubebwa. When you treat yourself the way, when you treat yourself the way you want to be treated, it becomes so much easier. Cutting people, I've had to cut off people that I love with all my heart, but then when there's disrespect, then it's just, I have to choose myself. I have to love myself more than I care for this friendship. Because if I don't, then what does that say about me? It just says I have no respect for myself. I don't care about myself. And then it invites people like these around me to treat me the way they feel like. So in as much as it's painful, I promise you're going to be okay. Yeah.
And I think it's harder, Shata, when it comes to, I think, men. Unajuanga kuna ule ubeshto hiyo like yenyewe Shata, what's up, tuende tukakunywa ati unyana nilikuwa nataka relax. Una relax nini buda bana, unaweza relax hapo to na uko peke yako unafanya nini? So I think it's harder for men. What do you think, ku cut off watu wenye unajua yenyewe ule Timo anakuanga wacha ni mkato ule ni mlaina.
First of all, ukimkatofa atasema umeomoka.
Ndio hiyo sasa. Siku hizi umechange.
Uliomoka kwa tutoke. Haina ngori.
Utarudi.
Tushaona wengine.
Utatutafuta.
Wengine washakujaga kama wewe na ukaikia na wakaru. Wanarudingi. Unapigwa kama blackmail bro, unaona sasa. Mpaka una believe. You believe that actually I might go and need these guys. Yes. Come back.
Aliyeju. Ngoja chini.
Yote ati majamaa haikuwa hivyo. At least we live in such threads, but mi niko na definition ya friendship yenye ninataka kila mtu tu mwenye anao show ama hata nyinyi uifikirie. A true friend is a person that you can fully and totally celebrate your wins with freely.
Oh wow.
Freely, like if I have a win here and I share with you, that friend has to be genuine with my celebration. I will feel that this person is actually celebrating me. Because we have it inverted. We think that if I can share my sorrows with you, then you're my true friend. But fake friends want to be, actually it's very easy to share in your sorrows. Because why? They know I'm above him.
I'm to same level.
I'm doing better than this person. But a person that will celebrate you knowing that you're doing better than them, now that is a true friend. Yeah. You see? If people were to view things from that aspect, then you would start understanding enyewe, this one is a true friend I have. And when you have a true friend, it does not mean you won't fight. Fights happen, just like in other relationships, you know. But when you come back and solve, don't come back and assume the issues you had. When
come here, you go away for 3 days.
Exactly.
And then come back like, hey, especially the boy child.
I'm sure kuna mtu kwa roho yako na feeling this is a true friend. Yes. When that happens, when they come back and you solve the issue you had, you start feeling a greater bond than it was before. You feel there's growth in this relationship. Now yet it keeps growing day in, day out. You keep getting new challenges. You keep growing together. Now that is a person you can engage and say, this is a true friend. But if this is a person I am with because I feel, I am indebted to this person. This person has been around me for like 20 years. But you clearly know this person goes talking about you with other people. If you cut them off and they get mad, it's fine, man. If you want to make everyone happy, go sell ice cream. That's it.
Not ice cream, but
like uwezi penda mtu kama ujipendi. Na shindanga nikiambia watu hiyo kitu. Like na kujipenda sio kuwa selfish. But you can't give what you don't have. You must first learn to love yourself. And loving yourself is acknowledging that this person is not good for my health. Unaona? Na roho safi tu, baba, wewe nichukie tu. Tutapatana huko mbele. Sawa sawa. Hivyo tu.
Whether niende nirudi chini, at least that journey will be made without you.
Unaona, for example, kama hiyo part tulianza nao tukisema if you share your secret with someone and they go telling,
yes,
washa away options. Aka feel they are gaining more in sharing your secret than keeping it. So they go for the option of gaining. Unaelewa?
But so, is it that they are gaining more, or sometimes is it a character flaw?
Sometimes it's a character flaw. Sometimes, no matter what, they'll be leaving the house telling themselves, I cannot talk about it. When they get somewhere, yes, they just can't help themselves. It's like having loose bowels, you know.
Well, I guess that's the best way we can kind of understand this.
So you got to treat it.
Yes.
And sometimes they have to go through the consequences of their behavior in order to know that it is not right. Now, that's where the problem of people becoming enablers lies, because if we all are afraid to call them out, just because we don't want to offend them or how will they react, they will keep on doing that. Somebody has to call them out. And sometimes you're the first one to call them out. Now, you see the dynamics of friendships, and when you talk about the fake ones, it's so crazy because maybe Roberta is offended in what somebody did, and Shatta is offended in what somebody did, and they cannot call out the person. So they end up gossiping about the person. See how the toxicity is going around. So she's offended in you, he's offended in you, none of them can face you, then they go and start talking to each other about you. That thing becomes such a huge cycle. I think we need to normalize calling out people and just saying, look, Willis, you're the only person I told this. How come it is with Shatta? And then I'll allow you to have your tantrums, you know, get upset, block me, talk to me. And I'll be comfortable because I know you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And if you feel that you cannot then get back for us to get back, then it's fine, because you're still going to do me damage somewhere along the line. That's where, again, we need to be comfortable with traveling alone, being alone, eating by yourself, sitting alone. When you can do that, then you can easily take care of relationships around you.
You mentioned something that I want to, why would they be afraid to come and approach this person? Why would let's say, like you're saying, and this again is hypothetical, if Shatta has a problem with me, Robert has a problem with me, so they start talking about me instead of coming, why would they be afraid to talk to me?
Some people don't know how to handle conflict. They are not comfortable with conflict. Some people's way of dealing with conflict is running away. Some people's way of dealing with conflict is going to talk to somebody else elsewhere. I've seen sometimes even just common friends that I have with somebody who puts up a post, for example, on Facebook, and then somebody else will call me and say, man, why don't you tell so-and-so to change this? And I'm wondering, but you're also his friend. Just call him and tell him that. But they don't want to lose their face over there.
Friendship.
Yeah. So some people don't know how to handle conflict. They don't know how to handle confrontation. So they would rather try to assume it, but then again, if it's affecting them, they bring it out from somewhere else. Yeah.
That's very interesting dynamic. Unaogopa kuambia mtu kweli.
Actually, they fear losing you. That is it also.
But what kind of person would you be afraid to lose noise mwambie ukweli?
This is the point.
Wanataka kukua kwa rada yako.
It is the toxicity.
Unless maybe what they are your boss, they are doing better than you, social status.
Hapana, let me tell you. Kuna rafiki tu uko na yeye, si ndio, and you know, huyu nikimconfront, I know how he reacts.
Even to from past na watu wengine.
Ndio vile anadilingi na watu. Unaona, na anaweza kuwa anakukosea. Haujui angle ya kumfikia. Una feel I might lose this friend because of this issue. Sasa unaanza kuogopa. Wewe mwenyewe unaanza I won't call it blaming yourself, but unaanza kujiwekea burden ya wacha nikaongea na Robert about it. Bala kwambia Willis. Maybe hata mwambia. Alafu pia you know naturally unajuaga tu Shata is Roberta's friend to this level. I am Roberta's friend to this level. You get? So if Shata speaks to her, she will listen. Unaget? Ile mbaya ni naambiaga mtu mimi usiongee kuhusu mtu kitu uwezi ongea mbele yake. Unaelewa? I might come to talk na Roberta about you, not to gossip you. Unaona? Nione kama yeye anaweza kufikia kuongelesha. Unaelewa? But if she feels it is something both of us need to speak and create your avenue, I should be able to say those things.
Come on, like if she says, okay, you're going, CJ has done this thing, you say, okay, hold up, I'll arrange a meeting, tukuje wote, uambie CJ, takupatia backup.
Rosafi tu mwambie cheki nitawaita, mwambie anafanya hili na kukosea. Unaona? Again, that's another aspect of friendship. You see, because this friend has tried to bring mitigation, like to solve the issue. Hajakuja kuambiwa na akachemka. Unaona? Mostly madem now don't kufanya hivyo.
Why is that so? What do you think so?
How they feel each other. Yeah. They feel the emotions that the friend brings.
Well, before Roberta answers that, I want to throw a perspective to what Shata is saying.
Yes.
When you're dealing with a very manipulative person, sometimes that can also backfire, because then they will come and say, so why couldn't you tell me directly? Why did you have to go through Roberta? Because again, now they're trying to make you look like you have messed their reputation. You were seeking help.
Yes.
Your intention was good, but they have to win. They have to make you feel bad. So you start feeling bad, like you even went to talk to Roberta, to talk to them. They're like, you could have told me. Why are you involving Roberta in this whole case?
Right.
When you have manipulative people, they do that on you as well. So sometimes it even complicates the issue. So you find somebody may even not even seek help anywhere else. Then you begin to have the resentment, the bitterness. You'll start having people just having cold wars and stuff like that because they can't really talk about it.
Cold wars. How, explain to us the ladies' perspective. How come it's more emotional? And I think the ladies don't wanapenda subliminal. Where utajua Roberta amekosewa, ukienda pale IG uone quote. Choosing myself, no war September.
Oh my God. I wouldn't say that at least women are too emotional. Yes. I think I've said this before. I think men just choose not to use their emotions. So of course, when we're being emotional, we're over dramatic and all that. But again, it's just about us being able to have amazing communication skills, us being able to know ourselves and to know our friends and just to gauge our relationship so that we know, like, how can I approach Willis? How can I talk to Willis? If I'm angry, I don't have to post a tweet that's subliminal just to get attention or whatever it is for. I can always just speak to the person. Me, I used to do that a lot. I used to be nikijam. If you go on my Twitter, you'll know. Today I'm fighting with someone. And so because of this, I had to open a whole other private Twitter where now, because I know I won't sitakosa kutweet, lazima ni tweet. So I go on my private Twitter that nobody follows. I just say everything I want. But then I realized that's how I deal with my stuff, because it's how I vent, it's how I let out my emotions. And as I wouldn't say social media is the best place to, you know, put up all your business and to talk about. People have different ways to control how they're feeling and everything. Like for me, I knew I tweet a lot when I'm angry, so I controlled it by opening a private Twitter that nobody sees. So now I feel even less embarrassed after my tantrum, because sasa watu wajaona vitu nimeandika and everything. Kitambo it would be like, what's wrong, everyone, all these comments, everyone in your business. But I think I used to do it partly for the validation, because it feels good, you know, when you're angry and then someone asks, like 10 people DM you, what's wrong, can I help, can I? But after I started loving myself and just knowing myself better, I really realized that's not the kind of validation I need. That's not where I want the attention to go. I need to work on myself and I need to improve the ways in which I communicate. So while I might say that it's not that women are too emotional, it's just that I have no problem. Yeah, sisi hatuna shida kuonesha that niko emotional. Yes, nimejam na nitaionesha and I'll do whatever I want, but it's just better to find healthier coping mechanisms other than posting subliminal stuff and being angry or being unable to communicate better. If you're angry, find out what happens, what is best for you. If you're emotional, find out how to deal with it best, what works for you, because for everyone it's definitely different. And I'd say, just on that point, men, please show your emotions. Please, it's okay. It's okay for you to create a private Twitter like me and vent there.
But now Shata and I want to follow that private.
Hey, unataka tuambie ni gani? Ndio tuone form ilikuwa gani hapo hivyo.
Huko siwezi kubali new request. Huko niko tu sawa. But it's just, it's okay to feel emotions. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay for you to feel all these feelings. Friendships hurt just as much. Even my brothers hurt my feelings. They break my heart. But you have to improve your communication. You have to be better at saying what you feel and at the best time with the best people. Just make sure. Najua watu ni wa fake and people are just wrong. They can hurt your feelings and everything, but please, I promise you, if you work on yourself, you tend to attract people with the like mind, with the like heart. And even if you don't and you're by yourself, all the work you've done on your own will be worth it. Because now when I'm angry at you, Willis, and I'm not emotionally mature, I'll go talk to CJ and Shata about you, you know. Or I'll go post on Twitter.
It's not talking, it's gossip.
Yeah, it's gossip. Willis amefanya nini and all that. But then once I love myself and I know the kind of friendship we have, I should be able to communicate. And if I can't, I should be able to just find a way to just cope with it better other than creating more conflict. Because if you're my friend, like I said, vituka honesty, trust, loyalty, love. Hizo ni basic. Hizo ni vitu unafawoneshe. A homeless person, a CEO, the janitor, a neighbor, everyone. Those are not things that make you an above and beyond human being. Those are very, very normal. So, yeah, I think, yeah, that's what I think.
The way we rush to post things on social media when maybe we are hurt, it speaks to who
or quotes.
Yes, it speaks to who we've become as a society. You know, because Zamani, if I am hurting, I know the person to talk to. Like I know I am feeling this, I need to talk to Willis. I'm feeling this, I need to talk to CJ. You know, but right now it is, you just feel, let me go on social media and speak. People there will feel me. People will respond to that. I will just read the responses and feel like nimesikizwa. Unaelewa? We've lost that part. That part that, yo, I am feeling this. I call you like niaje Willis, niaje nasikia hivi. You're like, okay, poa, umekata simu. Next time you're on my door. Unaget next step, niaje buda nimekam. Niambie ulikuwa unasemaje. Unaona? That aspect of life, either we are too busy for it or vitu zimehappen to an extent that to may ignore. Unaelewa? So people go to social media. They think it is the quickest avenue to be listened to. You would have a friend that maybe they're too busy for you. They won't create time for you. But I keep telling people, you create time for what is important for you. You know, if it is important, you are here because this is important for you. You get? So if a friendship is important to you, you will create time for it. Yeah. So we need to remember such things. Have 2-3 people around that you know these ones got me. You don't have to have a million followers on social media and none of them got you. Yeah.
You know, I think it may not necessarily be that people are not available. I think we've become cowards. We don't know how to have direct talk. True. We just don't know how to go and say, Shatta, can we meet? There's this thing and this thing that I'm not happy with. We've become cowards. That's why we'll use subliminals. That's why we will look for validation from strangers. And then they give us the energy to attack somebody who's just a phone call away. And we feel good that these people are backing our opinion and our thought. We have become cowards. We need to begin to grow up. I was going to say man up, but then they're also the woman up. And then we've got to think about some of the repercussions. You see, there are people now who cannot put relationships and friendships on social media because they are afraid of the dark days. They don't want the drama. Like when we disagree, then my partner, my spouse, my friend brings up all this drama, which may affect even my professional side. You wake up and you meet people asking you what's going on between you and so and so. You realize the person posted something. So now you have to answer to things that you thought were going to be private. You're going to lose some business somewhere. You're going to lose contact. People begin to think your house is not in order. You're this kind of a person, because they're also interpreting that based on their own perception. They don't know the whole truth. You may not give them the whole truth. People have to be responsible. If I disagree with you today, it doesn't mean that we're going to stay enemies. But that doesn't also allow you to do damage for me that will affect me for the next 5 years. Just because somebody said, just because your pain is understandable does not mean your behavior is justifiable. You know, that you're upset does not mean that you need to bring down my whole house so that I feel the pain that you are feeling. What happens tomorrow when we get back together? I think people just need to be very truthful, bold. If you have never had a difficult conversation with anybody, the first time it will hurt you. I say it's like going to the gym, it will hurt you. But the only way to work on that pain is to keep going back and going back. With time, you learn how to speak the truth. And you find it very, very, very peaceful, because you go to bed knowing, well, I'm not gossiping Willis. I told him. So even if I talk to Shatta, it's not something I didn't tell you. That's what Shatta was saying, that never say something that you cannot say when the person is there. So I'll know even if Willis calls me and says, Shatta was saying that.
Yes.
I said, but that's what I told you.
That's what I told him. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, be bold. Don't be a coward. Don't hide behind the keyboard and these fancy gadgets. Go ahead and talk your stuff. Of course, it was said differently by Jay-Z, but yeah, talk your stuff and be bold and do the thing. That's all the time we had. Either way, sisi tumemaliza party yetu, tunashukuru sana. We are bold enough to say asante sana for listening to us. I hope that you pick some nuggets from this, and because at the end of the day, I think everybody knows what they truly want. Everybody knows that friend that you need to have that hard conversation with. Why don't you make that today? Have it so that by the end of the day, or as they say in the biblical terms, when the sun goes down, you will be okay. So today I challenge you, have that one difficult conversation with your boss, with your friend, with your colleague, with your sibling, or somebody, so that you get it off your chest. Peace and love. Cristiano Ronaldo is in Man U.